Oh my gosh, this Pretty Liars episode. Oh my gosh, I just loved it. Like, I don't wanna get emotional or anything, but the ending was just, it gave me chills. If you watched it, you know what I'm talking about. There's like a relief, to this whole, pretty much like the biggest mystery of this show was like revealed of this episode. It was just like finally they promised something. Before they always would tell us that, oh, we'll find out this, we'll find out that, but it was like just little pieces of what they told us it would be. But it was actually the reveal of Allison is alive. Oh my gosh. Maybe they're following the twin theory. Maybe that was Courtney that died. I don't know. And I'm in a new location. I usually film by my desk, but I'll switch it up a bit. A collage that I made. I don't know if you can see a little picture of Pretty Little Liars right there. I'm gonna roll my intro right now. Hey guys, it's Ashley. It is time for another Pretty Little Liars recap and review time with me.
Taking this one to the grave. If I show you, then I know you won't tell what I said. 'Cause two can keep a secret if one of them is dead.
Hey guys, this is Ashley and this is my Pretty Little Liars recap review on Grave New World. And let me just tell you, this episode was crazy. It's pretty creepy since they were in Ravenswood. Miranda was introduced, who is part of Ravenswood. She got introduced in this episode and I really like her character. Oh, and also stay subscribed because I will be doing a recap on Ravenswood. I was gonna do a whole recap of the two shows in one video, but I think that'll be too long. So keep an eye out for my Ravenswood recap. It'll be posted sometime this week. This episode continues where we left off, where the four girls, they look into the costume shop and they want to blend in with everyone else, so they dress up in these like old-fashioned costumes and they're about to enter this graveyard. And Emily, she's kind of cautious. When the girls are walking through the cemetery, Arya gets a call from Ezra and Spencer tells her, don't tell him too much, don't tell him about everything. She answers the phone and she says that she's in Ravenswood and he tells her to be careful out there, and he has like this look on his face. And then they're at the party and Hannah keeps seeing these two little girls in red coats, like these twins, and she's kind of like following them. I guess she's like curious who they are because she hasn't seen their faces. Spencer goes to see this guy dressed up in this old army suit. So she goes over there and Guy is actually talking to a lady and she goes out of the party, and so Arya follows her. Then Emily goes behind Arya. Miss Grunwald grabs her wrist and she asks her, what are you doing here? You need to leave now. And then so while Arya's like walking in the cemetery alone, which is a bad idea, and someone just randomly grabs her ankle and she looks down and it's that lady, white dress, who we see that was talking to the guy in the old army suit and fell in a ditch. Someone pushed her and then the guy comes along and saying that I told you not to walk alone and all that stuff. I don't know if that was really important or if that's something we should be like keeping out for, like that lady and that guy. But I saw on a website that guy was the Ravenswood townsperson, Luke Madison. So I don't know if he's like an important person we should keep an eye for. They all meet up again in the cemetery. All of a sudden they see someone with a red coat running and they're like, oh my gosh, is that Allison? So they chase her down this path. They kind of like lose her, like where'd she go? And then so they move the statue, like, oh, let's go in here. So they go in there, this creepy stairwell, like this secluded stairwell. And I knew something bad was gonna happen because I saw like the sneak peek. So they go down the stairs, really creepy, and all of a sudden the door closes on them and they can't get out. So now they have to find another way out of there. So they're still looking for Allie, they're calling her name. All of a sudden there's this gust of wind, like this really strong wind that comes out of nowhere. And so they're each holding each other's hand against the wall so the wind doesn't like blow them away. And then when the wind stops, like, oh, are you okay? Arya looks there and she's like, oh my gosh, and she's holding a statue's hand. Like, I didn't get that. Like, how did that even happen? Like, wouldn't Arya like feel that or like it wouldn't like we hear a scream, but I don't know. She was holding a statue's hand, and you're like, "Where's Hannah?" So now they lost Hannah. Hannah's alone. Finds a written in like red on a wall that says "Help me," and she turns on her flashlight on her phone, and she's like looking around, turning around, and I thought something was gonna pop out. I was like, "Oh my gosh," because it was like really slow, and I thought something was just gonna like try to grab her. But no, there's just these ton of rats all like next to her, and she screamed, and so she ran somewhere. And so now she's like walking down like this creepy piano room, I guess. And she's like, Allison, Allison, you're here. And she goes to another room, and then you see A, which is Ezra, closing the piano. It's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. She comes across a phone booth. And I was thinking, oh no, this is a bad idea. She goes in, she's probably gonna get locked in or something. So she tries to call like one of the girls, and she can't get a hold of it. It's like no signal, and there's these random creepy noises coming from the phone. She sees these weird lights, and then someone locks the door and she can't get out. And while she's in there, she sees Allison through one of the windows. Then she sees someone going from behind Allison and covering her mouth and attacking her. Meanwhile, Caleb is in the bus where he comes across Miranda, who's not from Ravenswood. Also, she's, I don't know, they don't really say where she's from, but she's gonna go to Ravenswood to visit her uncle. And her uncle doesn't know that she's coming, and she doesn't have parents either. Caleb kind of can relate to her because he doesn't have, well, he wasn't close with his parents either, and the whole thing with his uncle. So they kind of bond on this kind of creepy bus. There was only them two, the bus driver, which was really creepy, and really creepy guy that, I don't know, like something with his eye was really creepy about, and I don't know, he just kept staring at them and sleeping. I don't know. They reach Ravenswood. They're at the cemetery. Caleb tells her that he'll walk with her to her uncle's house because it's kind of creepy, and they have each other's cell numbers now and all of that. See Hannah in the phone booth, still can't get out. Someone turns the knob and she's really scared, but it turns out to be Miranda. Got in there like some other way, and so they're talking and all of that. Also, Caleb tells her his girlfriend's name is Hannah, and so when she says her name is Hannah, she pretty much knows that that's Caleb's girlfriend. And so they're trying to find a way to get out of there. They also find a room with a lot of caskets and a cross, and Miranda gets this back flash of when she was a little girl standing next to her uncle in that same room, and where she's kind of like saddened by her parents' death, and then her uncle like asks for forgiveness because he's gonna send her away to someone else to take care of her because she was just a little girl. So back to reality, she kind of starts crying, and Hannah asks her if she's okay, and Spencer, who's alone because she was chasing Allison and is alone, comes across this greenhouse where A is there with the gas mask and the army uniform, and they kind of have like a fight, and I thought Spencer was gonna like finish him, but of course not. This is like just the beginning of that, right? Spencer knocks him down, and she goes down to his level, about to take off the mask, and I'm like, oh, this is a bad idea. He's not really dead. Grabs her and hits her, and she falls. And by this point, I thought A, or I guess that's Ezra, was gonna like chop her neck off, because the clippers that she used to knock him out the first time, like those big shears, he picked it up and he was like, that. And then we go to Emily and Arya, who's about to jump out this window because they can't find any other way to get out of there. And I was kind of scared for Emily because she's about to jump out, and there's this sharp glass from the top kind of like slowly going down on them. Hear a scream, and then so Emily jump backs in, and the window just goes wah! And Emily got like scared, like, what, you know, good thing there was that scream because gosh, that was scary. Arya and Emily come across Spencer, who's laying on the ground by the greenhouse. Oh my gosh, are you okay? And she finally wakes up. She asks, oh, where is he? They try to find a way to get out of there and find Hannah still. So Miranda, she finally gets out with Hannah, She discovers her face on a tombstone and her name too. How crazy is that? Girls, they hear Allison's voice again. They go to a room, and what is it? It's a tape recording of Allison screaming for help. And then Miss Grunwald suddenly appears, and then she gets like this vision or whatever, like, I don't know, does she have like powers or something? But she tells them that one of them has been touched by enemy, which Allison fears the most. So they're all like looking at each other kind of shocked, like they don't know who it could be. They're wondering who it could be. Amanda comes across Caleb, that she found Hannah, that he should be more worried about Hannah than Miranda. Caleb was kind of worried about her too. He asks her, oh, are you okay? Like, what happened? So she tells him all what happened about Allison. They lost Allison again and all that. Miranda is about to leave. Hannah doesn't want her there alone in this creepy town alone because they're about to leave already, and Hannah asks Caleb to stay in Ravenswood. She kisses him with so much passion, and she just tells him he could stay there with Miranda until she finds more about her uncle, and he agrees, so he's with Miranda. You know, I really hope that Hannah and Caleb don't break up. I heard like there was like rumors and stuff that Hannah and Caleb's gonna break up and Miranda and Caleb are gonna become boyfriend girlfriend. Like, if that happens, my Caleb heart is just gonna break because I love them. The other three girls somehow escape, and they're looking for a way to get out of there, but their tire got flat, and so they're gonna look for a spare tire in the trunk. And what I thought was funny is Spencer was like, okay, I hope one of you know how to change the spare tire. Her and Arya look at Emily, and Emily's like, oh, is it because I'm gay? And it was like, I don't know, I just thought it was funny. And then they're like, no, it's because you're sportier than us or something. But anyway, they realize they don't have a spare tire in the trunk. Hannah goes to them. A car comes up, and who is it? It's Ezra. And he says, oh, I was wondering where you were, to Arya. Worried you weren't answering my calls. You're kind of stranded, and he's like, since it's late out, I can give you a ride home. He gives the four girls a ride home, is telling him goodbye. They see someone in a red hoodie running towards the woods, and so they go and chase her. And at this point, I was like at the edge of my seat. I'm like, come on, they better reveal this. They're in someone's backyard. Four girls are lined up. A red coat, or whatever you want to call it, is in front of them with her back turned. She takes her hood off, like, yes, blonde hair. She turns around, and it's Allison. What? Oh my gosh, it's Allison. Like, what? Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. You have no idea how happy I was at that moment. Like, a relief, you know? Like, I've been watching this show since I was like 14, and I'm now 18, and it's just crazy. But anyway, we finally found out that Allison has been alive this whole time. And I didn't actually think she was dead, because those dream sequences was hard to believe that those were actually dream sequences. A part of me was like, she has to be alive. But it's like definitely confirmed now that she's alive. She turns around and she says, did you miss me? They are like shocked. They're like, they can't believe it themselves either, that she's actually alive. And she says that she doesn't have much time, and she keeps looking by the woods, and there's like light shining, and she's like, I don't have much time, I have to leave. Asks Hannah, do you remember what I told you at the hospital? Whoa, that was actually her at the hospital, guys. Like, I kind of had a feeling that was her, but at the same time I was like, maybe that was a dream, because Hannah was like all drugged up. The girls turn around, and it's Ezra, and he hands Arya her phone, like, oh, you forgot your phone in my car. They're kind of looking at Ezra like kind of shocked, like, why would he just appear like that? And then they turn around, Allison's gone. Allison is freaking gone again. They show Ezra's face, and Ezra is kind of like looking out for her, like, dang, I missed her type of face. Oh, and also he was wearing a sweatshirt, and he kept his hand, like one hand in his pocket the whole time, and that's the hand that Spencer hit. Miranda, Caleb in the graveyard. Caleb stoops down at a gravestone, and he sees his picture and his name, Caleb Rivers, on the tombstone. Like, what is this? And that was the end. Stay tuned for my Ravenswood recap. What do you think of this whole episode? I personally loved it. I just loved it. It was so amazing. You know, I wasn't disappointed at all. They just gave us answers, and can't wait for January 7th, because that's when 4B returns, and I'll definitely be doing recaps on that. But for now, I'll be doing recaps on Ravenswood. Bye guys, peace out.